Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby, representing Team Kings of Games, yo. And today I'm coming at you guys with an update for ZEFRAs. Now, this is unlike the 60 card list. That's more like a mash. It's like a meta mash of like magicians and Endymion and mythical beasts and spell books and just all kinds of crazy stuff. This is more or less pure ZEFRA with a couple compact engines just to keep my ceiling high enough and have enough searchable low scales, because I always want ZEFRA to be my high scale, so that I can be able to play through certain hand traps and things of that nature. But when it comes down to Pendulum decks, there really is no other Pendulum deck that's like ZEFRAs, the way they play. The way they're able to plus off of just 1 and 2 cards. It's like the only Pendulum deck that's ever succeeded being able to play like 7, 8, sometimes 10 hand traps, main decking Called by the Grave. It's the only Pendulum deck that can literally search any monster, draw at the same turn. It's like, it's pretty crazy, you guys. It's very unorthodox. It has a higher learning curve and it's not as simplistic or linear. So, there's a lot of intricacies, memorization, and all that repetition and the patterns that you just kind of got get down by It's going to require a little bit of dedication to learn how to pilot this deck correctly. So, like, I will say the more mainstream decks are like Pure Endymion, Pendulum Magicians, Pendulum Magician Endymion, things of that nature. But this deck it's very different from those. You have an ideal setup, and your ZEFRA cards are able to plus so much harder than any of the other Pendulum cards. You're able to get 4 cards off of 1 card. You can't do that in Endymion. In Endymion, you can't just activate 1 card and get 4 cards in rotation. In ZEFRAs, you can play 1 Providence, get a field spell up, get a ZEFRA, get a body, and then you can get the counter trap. Like, literally, he's going to get you anything because he can be a high or low scale. So the deck is very consistent. It has its own pseudo-electromites in the main deck that give you that same value that electromite had back in the day, sending from your extra deck and adding from your extra deck to hand. This deck can do that without electromite. It's really, really powerful, you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get to the main deck. ZEFRAs are awesome, you guys. They really are. And like I said, they require a little bit of patience and understanding, but they can make boards that are not susceptible to Kaijus, Dark Ruler No More, Lava Golems, Spear Molds, Super Polys, because you can be crazy and spit out 3 monsters that are where you perfectly are able to be spear molded, and you'll still have ZEFRA War. You'll still have multiple ZEFRA Divine Strikes, because you can search 1 off Providence and search 1 off ZEFRA Neo. So you can do that. Like, you will have negates no matter what happens to you. That's the crazy thing. And you can make these weird boards that will be so annoying to play around, because your opponent will side deck these Evenlies and these Lightning Storms, and they won't be able to use them on you because your card, for 1, you can just banish Providence for Lightning Storm, and 2, Evenly just never works. You're always able to stop it. It's crazy. And the deck even has its own hand trap going second. It's so good, you guys. It really is. So let's get into the main deck. 3 of my Anger Translators. ZEFRA, this card is literally like Electromite. Okay, so we might as well just go ahead and state what I was talking about. How this deck basically has main deck Electromite. So ZEFRA allows me to access any ZEFRA monster that I want from my deck to my extra deck. Not only can I just Pendulum summon it after that, but I can still use Windy to add it from my extra deck to hand. Think of what Electromite does, except the drawing. He will send to your extra deck, and then you'll be able to add from your face of extra deck to your hand. This deck can do 2/3 of what Electromite did when he was still legal. That in itself is a very, very powerful thing, and it gives this deck a very high ceiling. And this card is MVP because she is not once per turn. You can normal summon her after your extra deck to hand, then you can Pendulum summon her and after your extra deck to your hand. This will keep your hand fat. You will end on 4 negates, 5 negates, and have 3 or 4 cards still left in hand and have scales. This is that Pendulum deck that has the ability to play past turn 2, 3, and 4, that has the ability to recover its board if it gets broken. It's able to do that. You can keep summoning out ZEFRA Neos and ZEFRAXIs and keep doing combos, keep spamming your board over and over and over, because your ZEFRA cards, as long as you have a low scale or a high scale, you're just going to plus so hard. This deck is different, yo. It is different. That's the best way to say it. We have 3 copies of ZEFRA Neo. This is a lifeblood of your deck. This is going to generate you your +1s, your +2s. You can pop it with 9 pillars, negate one of your opponent's cards, generate a +1, and get your ZEFRA Providence. ZEFRA Providence with any other scale is a +4. It's crazy. Like, you literally make your opponent neg while you plus. Like, this card is insane, you guys. floating off down off of Yazi into this, and then this survives off of a Zephyr Providence, and then your opponent has to like kill it multiple times. Like you can easily grind with this deck, and it's really good against back row decks. It's just very, very powerful. It's that jack of all trades Pendulum deck. I like Zephyr so much, love them. They're my second favorite deck. Like, oh, I can be biased, but still the facts. Why do you think Zefras are still relevant in OCG to this day? And they're playing hand traps in it because Zefras can combo off with 2 and 3 cards and make optimal boards. Other Pendulum decks have to spit their whole hand out to do that. So we have 2 Zefraxis. He's going to take your turn your other Zephyr monsters into tuners, and your Yang Zings into tuners. This is how you can make Needle Fiber. This is how you can synchro summon with the Zephyr archetype without having to rely on actually getting real tuners like harmonizing or anything of that nature. It does allow you to chain block, and he does go back to the bottom of your deck after you use them, so you'll never run out of Zefraxis. You want to play 2 just for the simple fact that I do play Desires, so that's the thing. I don't ever want to banish the 1 of Zefraxi and it's gone. With Wendy, it's a little bit different because she's a high scale. You can send her off of Zefra, but the thing is with him, because he's a 1 scale, you always want to make your Zefra a high scale if you could choose. When you're making him a low scale, that means you have a very awkward high scale, because Zefra, the way I built my Zefras is I always want him to be my high scale, because obviously, ideally, you always want to send Zephyr Neo, and you always want to be able to pin summon Zephyr Neo. So that's how you want to play it. So yeah, continuing with the Zephyrs though, we have 1 Thubin, he pops face ups, and 1 Zephyr Saiton, he pops face downs. And when you target your Zephyr cards and banish Providence, they just become a 1 for nothing, basically. It's not like a 1 for 1 where you trade your card with your opponents, you just take 1 of their cards from them. And then these are still bodies on field, you can overlay, you can do all kinds of things. And when you XYZ and when you synchro with Zephyros, you're going to get beneficial effects off of your Oracle. Now you can do cool things where you can synchro with your one of your Yang Zings, or one of your Zephyr Neos, or one of your other Zephyros. Stack a card on top of your deck off Oracle, stack a monster, and then XYZ with one of your Zephyros. Then you get to draw that card and then discard a card. So you can stack, for example, your Servant, or Vendimion, your 1-of. You can stack your 1-of Servant. You could stack, for example, Ash Blossom and then draw it the same turn, which is really, really nice. You could play that 1 Phantasmic, stack it, draw it. So this deck is just, like I said, it's just really, really cool. It's different. I told you guys, it's different. And that's going to be it for the Zephyr count. I'm not playing Pilica or Zefraxi the Beast or any of the Shadal ones because they are just not good enough in a competitive standpoint. Zefraxi, I mean, is debatable. Not Zefraxi, but the Flame. Basically, the Flame Necro, I'm trying to remember his name. He's the blue guy. Like, he looks just like the Necros of Catastor, but I'm not really fond of him. Electromite's banned, so the synergy that he used to have is not there anymore. And Pilica's just for reviving from the grave, but I really don't see that much value in it because I'm not really doing that very often. And when I do trade him out into the grave, it's normally, I'm already okay with that. So, continuing with the main deck, I do play 3 Master Cerberus. I just think that Cerberus is just way too good of a card. Any Pendulum deck should be playing him because he's always going to bait an Ash Blossom. He can easily body Salamangreats. If they don't have the proper card to stop him, he can just banish their Link and force the Rage and the War out. He can easily just attack over Appaloosa and banish Winda in main phase 2. He's always going to clear threats. He's a huge boss monster. He's a problem. He can OTK like crazy. He gains the attack. He's just so powerful. And Jackal King is, that main deck negator. He's just really, really strong. It's like your pseudo Appaloosa to play around the Nibiru if you want to go heavy combo. But you can honestly summon like 2 or 3 times in this deck and still get 3 negates. And that's incredible considering the fact that if that board gets broken, you can make it all over again just like that. And I do play a compact Endymion engine, mainly because I just wanted searchable low scales. Abductor is a good option, but the thing is you can't Pendulum summon Zefraxi and you can't Pendulum summon your Zephyr Windy with Abductor. So that's kind of like a not as ideal, even though she really is powerful. So I'm playing a very, very, very small Endymion package of just 1 Endymion, the Mighty Master, 1 Magister, and 1 Servant. Mainly, they're just here for me to search her off of Mastery because the low scales, like I said, are what's important to me. I want this to be my high scale. And I have 3, 6, 8, 9. I have like 11 ways to access Zephrath alone. That's crazy. So I'm normally seeing him like every single time. And if not, I'm at least seeing Zephyr Neo because I have 14 Zephyr Neos, which is broken. So you just want to have a low scale. Like, it's very, very compact on the Endymion. Like I said, it's very, very compact. So it's still, for me, it's pure ZEFRA. I'm just playing a couple compact engines to keep my ceiling high enough, and so that I can have the adequate scales, because I'm not playing Electromine because he's banned, so I can't just search the low scale I need. I need to have another way to just do that. So it's mainly here just because Servant. You don't even need a Resolver effect. You just want a low scale. I mean, it's a benefit. I'll show you guys the 2-card combo at the end of this, but yeah. You definitely just want her for the low scale. These are just added bonuses that you can play. I'm still loving Magister. He's just so powerful, you guys. We play 2 copies of Dark Worm and 1 Gate 0. Gate 0 is like my favorite low scale in this deck, because you can summon your Meteor Burst and your Absolute and your Vortex off of it, and you can pin summon anything, even your level 1s. You know, if you draw like, I'll just go ahead and show you guys some of the spice. The O-Line and the Jet. Not really spice, but non-conventional for Pendulum decks. But ZEFRA's that deck that you don't have to draw every card in your hand doesn't have to be scales. You only need 2 or 3 cards. That's it. You can draw 2 bricks and still go off with this deck. That's why Zephyrs were able to successfully top high-level YCSs in events like Nats and things of that nature, especially in OCG, because they don't need that many cards. They can play 11 hand traps. They were able to top playing 11 hand traps. We were topping YCSs playing hand traps. I, made it to nationals multiple times with Zephyrs, though. One of the very, very first times was playing hand traps, so you can easily play these 2 1-ups, even though they're not combo pieces. And this is still, if you play Link Real, it's still a 1-card Needle Fiber, which is really, really nice, you guys. So you want to play these, because that's how you turn your ZEFRA Niu and your Zefraxi after you search for Counter Trap into a Needle Fiber, so you get 3 negates off that play. So if you open Providence plus Oracle of ZEFRA, that's basically a 2-card combo that is going to generate like crazy advantage. Like if you open, Dragon Shrine plus like Zefrath and anything that searches Zefraxi, you've got your low scale, you've got your high scale, you've got your Zefraxi, you're going to make Needle Fiber. It's crazy. I'll show you guys. But that's it for the monsters. Now for the spells, we're playing 3 copies of Providence. This is the best spell in the deck. It's a +4. We have 3 copies of Oracle, the most broken field spell in the game. Ritual Sanctuary just can't do what this thing does, and this is it's broken, you guys. Give it to your opponent with set rotation and see how they can evenly match you or imprem you. Let's see if they can even activate it. We have 3 copies of Mastery. This is basically 3 low scales to me. I'm not dedicating the deck to, I'm not trying to make it to where I'm just hardcore trying to resolve Servant. It's really just for me to have those searchable low scales, because like I said, Electromite's banned, and Zefrath is my go-to high scale. He can be high or low because I play scale 1 and scale 7 Zefras, but then I have to scale something as a high scale that I don't really feel comfortable with, and that means I have to already have Zephyr Neo in my hand. Then I play 3 Pot of Desires, is just that +1. You normally want to play it after you combo, so that you could just refill your hand, so that no matter what happens to your board, even though your boards aren't susceptible to traditional cards like Storm, Evenly, Super Poly, Nibiru, Spear Mode, Lava Golem, like I said, just so that if anything happens to your board, you can easily reestablish. That's how you want to play Zephyrs. You don't want to play necessarily conservative mid-range, so to speak, but you don't want to vomit out every single card in your hand like every other mainstream Pendulum player does. You want to keep some resources for your next turn, because you should believe in the such thing as a turn 2, and not turn 2 kill, maybe a turn 2 recovery, because there are some good decks out there that can play through those negates, I'm telling you. We have 2 Dragon Shrines and 1 Foolish as like a sweet spot instead of the 3 Shrines. And then we also have 1 Terraforming, 1 Set Rotation to give me more access to Oracle, because Oracle gets Zefrath. 1 Dragon's Ravine, because I do like having that set rotation target, and this also gives me access to the Dark Worm, which gives me the Gate 0. That gives me the Meteor Burst play to summon Vortex, the Omni to Gate, get my counter traps. You can just end on like Meteor Burst, Vortex, Jackal King, couple back rows, and that's still good. It's 4 negates, and you're not really losing to like Super Poly or Spear Mode or Dark Ruler No More. Dark Ruler No More sucks against this deck. You have all these counter traps that are searchable, and they're always live. And then we play the 2 Zephyr Wars, so that when we do the Baguska lock or the Griffin lock, and they try to summon a Link to either attack over the Baguska or to get their monsters linked so they're no longer being negated by the Nightmare Griffin, you use the Zephyr War to pop their Link. Keep them in the Nightmare Griffin lock. Keep them in the Baguska lock. Because the only way they're attacking over Baguska is with the Link monster. The only way they're getting over Baguska besides that is with the card effect. How are they going to get over with card effects if I have counter traps to negate that? If I have, things like Appaloosa, for example, to protect that. This deck has some really cool soft locks in addition to it being able to combo off, put out 5, 6, 7 negates if you want to. But, you know, normally you want to keep it 4 and below so that you have cards in your hand for later. But 2-2-2 is a sweet spot for me. I really like this ratio. Hard drawing them is incredible because this is ZEFRAs. You do want to draw your traps because they're always live. Like, you don't brick. This is the one that you may brick on. That's why you don't want to play 3 of it. You may brick on it, but honestly, this deck is way too consistent. You have 14 Zefra News. And if you add in the 2 Zefraxis, you have 16 ways to make this live. 16. That's crazy. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the deck should be like 4. It's not 60. It's definitely not 60. It's like a little bit over 40. But it's still very small, you know, compared to what I normally play. I'm going to go over the side real quick, because I want to show you guys a couple combos. Because we're getting in there. It's 15 minutes. 3 Evenlies, 3 Lava Golems, 3 Dark Rulers, 3 Dinkos, Reboot and Garuda for back row, and Cowboy for time. I kind of keep the side decks traditionally the same for my competitive decks. Unless we're in a format where it's just hand loop Mermails everywhere, I'm going to need a Droll and Lockbird. You know, for Adamanticators, that's okay. I can continue with that. I can just Lava Golem that. I can just, you know, Dark Ruler that. I can just, you know, activate the evenly match. You know, for example, bait those negates. But with hand loops, that's different. You know, you might want to just play them Droll and Lockbirds and them Gammas. And you can play them in this deck and get away with it. So you've got Needle Fiber for the Auradon combo. So you just do Pendulum Summon, Zefra Neo, and Zefraxi. Just those 2 cards get 3 negates because you search your counter trap and turn that to a tuner, make your Needle Fiber, do this combo. It's really, really nuts. If you normal summon Zefra Windy, you can add back the Zefra Neo, for example, you know, and just basically have the discard fodder for Jet Synchron. Then you can easily just link her instead. So then you could just target her, for example, make her a tuner. So you have ways where if you don't want to discard the cards in your hand, you can use Zefra Windy to get discard fodder and still get her in your extra deck. So that way you'll have a valid target for your Zefra Divine Strike. But anyways, Metaltron, Griffin for the lock. I love the Griffin lock. And you get to reset your counter traps and your war. So it just helps you to grind. We have the 1 Appaloosa, 1 Boral Sword for the links. You don't play that many links. And then we have Arclight, and this is supposed to be Borload Savage for the Ardon combo. And we have Don Dragster. This is Yazi. Just don't have a Yazi right now. Yazi is incredible in this deck, though. You're easily going to force negates out and then summon a Zefra Neo on the follow-up. And Zefra Neo's got a big booty. And then we've got the Odd Eyes package. This is more like a trump card because you can make crazy boards without it. So you really only commit to the Vortex and the, you know, the Appaloosa and all that crazy stuff when you're just like, okay, I'm playing full power Adamanticators. I can't play around. I can't just summon out, you know, for example, Savage, Arclight, and a counter trap and think that's enough. I need to go all the way in. I need to summon Borload Savage, Arclight, you know, Meteor Burst. I mean, not Meteor Burst, Vortex, Jackal King, and double counter trap. I need to just take their whole hand out. You can do that. You know, you just got to open correct because you don't play Electromite, so it's not like you could just send any one of those cards you need. You've got to RNG into it. That's how Pendulums work now. Baguska, because he's still too powerful. You guys are sleeping on this card. He's so good. He's so good in Master Rule 5. He's just way too strong. And you can protect your luck with a War. It's so good. And then Dweller, it's a meta call. So now I'm going to show you guys a really cool combo. So obviously Mastery and Providence is a 2-card combo, which is really, really nice. But I'm going to go ahead and add in one of my 3 Zephrats so I can show you guys. But this really is a 2-card combo because you just get Servant, load 3 counters by activating this, Oracle, and Zefrat. Then you can Pendulum summon your Zefra Neo, search your counter trap, and then resolve Servant, summon herself out, and the Endymion, for example, and then just link her and that into something. That's a 2-card combo that gets you 2 negates, but I'm going to show you guys how you can go like a little bit further. 3-card combo right here. So activate your Mastery. Alright, cool, we got time. So you activate your Mastery, you're going to go ahead and get your Servant and scale your Servant. Activate her. Then you're going to activate your Providence, 1 counter on her. Get your Oracle, activate your Oracle, 2 counters on her. Ooh, excuse me, you guys, sorry. Oracle is going to search out your Zefraxi. Then you're going to scale Zefrat, 3 counters. Use Zefrat's effect to send the... This is why Abductor doesn't really work the way you would want it to. This is why instead of Abductor, you kind of have to play the Mastery and the Servant just to have more searchable low scales. And it's just a benefit that Servant's so broken. You know, she's that one for a reason. Send this to your face-up extra deck. Then you're going to go ahead and pin summon 2. Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. 2 make this a tuner. And then 1's going to go ahead and search out your one of your 2 ZEFRA Divine Strikes. And then next thing you're going to do is you are going to, actually before you go any further, let's go ahead and resolve Servant next. You're going to resolve Servant. You can summon out Jackal King if you're scared of Nibiru or Endymion. It is really up to you because you get Omni Negates either way. So either one is fine. Like I said, if you want to play around Nibiru, you can because you only summoned twice. That's what I'm saying. This deck really isn't susceptible to Nibiru like people think. But you can summon out this to play around Nibiru, or you can just go Mighty Master. Go Mighty Master, get him a counter, and then you can go ahead and link these into your Needle Fiber. So I guess these can be summoned out that way. Then you're going to link those 2 into Needle Fiber. Out of this deck. Like I said, if you want to play around Nibiru or any other hand traps, you can just summon the Jackal King. But this is just for demonstration. Needle Fiber is going to go ahead and summon out the Jet Synchron, the proxy Jet Synchron for right now. And then you're going to go ahead and link those 2 bad boys into, you know, your Ardon. This is the combo. I didn't come up with this combo. This is somebody else's combo. I already shouted that person out. Discard your, basically, don't discard your random yet, but go ahead and activate the effect, summon 3 tokens. And then obviously you're going to use him, tribute him, and one of your tokens to go into your O-Lion. You're going to basically synchro with O-Lion and the 3 tokens to summon your Borreload Savage. So if you want to go wombo combo like this, just make sure that it's worth it for you because you're making your deck susceptible to things that Zefras on their own are not susceptible to. But it's totally fine if you know that you got game. So Savage obviously is going to go ahead and equip that. You can chain block, get your token out, equip that. Activate the Jet Synchron, discard one of the cards in your hand, summon this bad boy out. You don't even need a pin summon 5 to make this deck go off. And then you're going to go ahead, that gets banished. Synchro with the token and that to summon your Arclight. And then this is going to be your ending board off of the 3 cards. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 negates off of a 3-card combo, 4 interruptions.